Hi, my name is Brianna Decker, and this is for Education 240, the Interactive Whiteboard Assignment. So the name of my lesson is Learning Through Fractions, Decimals, and Percents, and this is for Grade 6, SOL 6.1. We're going over number and number sense and focusing on the relationships between fractions, decimals, and percents, just so the students can kind of feel comfortable with that, go back and forth between fractions and decimals, and figure out how they relate to each other. As I said, this is for 6th grade math, and the learning objectives are that students will be able to identify and compare the relationships between fractions, decimals, and percents that represent the same quantity. Students will also be able to draw an image representing an amount and identify it in percent, decimal, or fraction form. And finally, students will be able to identify the quantity a word problem is describing. They should be able to do these things to a 75% accuracy. So now I'm just going to show you guys how we made this. Oops. And we did this on a little app called Nearpod. It's pretty cool. And you can just make these different questions, kind of like a lesson plan. And then the students will have it right on their cell phone or their iPad or whatever. And then what I'm showing you, this preview, is like how they would see it. So the first question is 4/8 is the same as, and they have some options, so then they would choose this. Let me make this full screen. They choose it on their phone, and this one's a little tricky because they have to be able to reduce 4/8 and then change the reduced fraction into a percentage. So 50% is the answer. The next question, it says draw what 6/8 looks like on a circle. So this is fun because they get to draw on their iPad or their phone or whatever. So, I mean, it doesn't have to be perfect, and the students know that. But here's kind of what they would do. They would just draw a circle, divide it into eighths. My circle doesn't look very good. Oops. And then I could go down here, pick a color, just kind of shade in 2/8 of it, or 6/8, sorry, so leave 2/8 empty. So that's just kind of a fun way for the students to, show their skills with that. Next question, how much of the pizza would you rather have? Hint, you want as much as possible. So they have to go between a decimal, a fraction, and a percent and convert them and say, okay, which one is the greatest? So that one's also a little tricky, but it also tests their knowledge converting back and forth and identifying what one's largest, smallest. And here's a word problem. If 42 out of 100 students in a school are boys, then what is the decimal that demonstrates which part are boys? So then they have to look and say, okay, 42 over 100, that would be the fraction, and then convert that to the decimal, which is 0.42. And then here's the final question. Choose the correct fraction, decimal, percentage relationship. So they're looking at, the fraction, decimal, and percent and saying which one of these are equal and what is representing the same amount. So this one's a little hard as well because they have to go back and forth and look at all the options. But here's the right answer. Yeah, so that is just this little app called Nearpod, and it's just showing how you can interact with your students through their iPads and their phones and really incorporate technology into the classroom. So thank you.